What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the scheduled NFL picks. This is week three with your boy Marlon Marr. This week, we got some intriguing matchups to get into. Uh, we are 2 weeks down into the 2017 NFL season. Uh, Not too panicked for some teams. For some other teams, this is their road to looking toward the NFL draft. And then there are a bunch of teams who are 1-1 where we don't know exactly where they are. But last week, definitely brought out some questions about some teams, namely my squad, Cowboys. The way that offensively speaking, we could not get anything going. I mean, granted that Denver D looked great. Looks like they're back in rare form, but given how there was no rushing attack whatsoever, Zeke only carried the ball some 8 or 9 times, maybe. Dak Prescott having definitely his worst game so far in his career with those two picks, including that last pick six. Play calling seemed to be bad. Uh, that just seemed that lopsided loss. We'll find out of whether or not that is the real Dallas Cowboys or if that was just um, a if that was just I'm not gonna say a fluke, but more or less an aberration per se. Denver looked good. The AFC West as a whole, outside of San Diego, looks great because they're all 2-0. Oakland's 2-0 has looked great. Kansas City is 2-0 and they look great. And say what you will about that one against Philly. That was a carrot. If the New England one wasn't character statement enough, I think the gutting out against Philly definitely was. Uh, and we've already talked about Denver. Excuse me. You got some other teams. Pittsburgh. I mean, they're 2-0, but they beat Cleveland and they only beat them by three. And then they beat up a Minnesota team that didn't have the starting quarterback, who's and we'll see exactly when it comes to Minnesota, uh, the help of Sam Bradford and how that offense was rolling in week one. We'll see if that has any effect going forward. Um, but yeah, this week we got some intriguing matchups this week, and I guess we'll find out more as these teams play out, and we get through this first quarter of the season. So let's just kick things off tonight because we do have a game tonight. I don't know exactly how many people are going to be interested in this game tonight because this is a NFC West divisional matchup between the Rams and the Niners. Uh, and I'm going to go with the Rams by default, offensively speaking. Now, I will say this. San Fran is 0-2. They lost to Carolina week one and last week Seattle. Offensively speaking, they're trash. Just put it out there, they're trash. Defensively speaking, they've actually not played that bad. And then you look at the Rams, they beat up on a hapless Colts team, and then uh, gave basically in essence gave the game away against Arizona. If you watch that game, how that game played out, they kind of gave Arizona that game. That was a game that just seemed like nobody wanted to win it. Uh, but here we are. Uh, Excuse me, that wasn't the Rams. That was the Colts. The Rams lost to Washington. I don't know what the hell happened in that game. Um, but nonetheless, the Rams are a better team than the Niners. And even though this is San Fran's opener, I'm gonna go ahead and take the Rams on the road. Uh, and that's your Thursday night matchup. Now we have a Sunday morning matchup as the Jaguars will be playing in London this week. They'll be playing the Ravens. The Ravens defensively, the Ravens right now look like they're the best defensive team in the league. And I only say that not, and it's not by much because, I mean, I think Denver overall has played better, but the Baltimore Ravens are creating turnovers on defense. They have 10 already. That's tops in the league. There are other defenses I can speak on that play pretty good too, and I will get to those in a little bit. But I look at the Ravens and their ability to create turnovers and capitalize on turnovers, and they're playing the Jags, who have Blake Bortles, who is trash. So I look forward to seeing more Jaguar turnovers, more specifically Blake Bortles turnovers, and the Ravens should win this game. Now we get to the 1 o'clock games. The Broncos had their first 2 games at home in Mile High. Difficult place to play, especially when you consider altitude and things like that. Now they're on the road. They go to Buffalo. They play the Bills. Trevor Siemian has looked pretty good these first 2 games, and I expect that the road because I do not expect much from the Bills. That defense is legit. I like the Broncos to take that one and take that one pretty easily. Steelers at Bears. I'm picking Steelers cause Bears. There's not much to talk about in that game. Saints Panthers. 0-2 Saints versus 2-0 Panthers. Now the Panthers, offensively speaking, haven't really looked that sharp. They barely beat in my opinion, a pretty trash Buffalo team. Who's don't know what happened in the running game in Buffalo, but defensively, the Panthers do look good. I think this will be the game that Cam Newton will look to break out that passing game, that deep passing game anyway. Should be able to take advantage of those corners against New Orleans, and I think the Panthers, should take that one. Bucks at Vikings. I spoke earlier about the health of Sam Bradford. Don't see Case Keenum really being a decent fill-in to help out to get this offense rolling to what it was in week 1. And against a Bucks team that looked hungry in their first game of the season. I mean, they demolished Chicago. And I expect them to really handle business again. I'm gonna take the Bucks on this one, even though this is the Vikings at home. The Vikings defense at home plays much better. I just think Tampa Bay right now has a better team right now overall, and even if it's close, I think the Bucks will still be able to put up more points than I expect the Vikings to. Excuse me. Next game is the Colts hosting the Browns. Both of these teams are 0-2. Believe it or not, the Browns are favored. Believe it or not, I'm going to pick the Browns to win this game. If DeShone Kizer can stay healthy, this would be the perfect game and the perfect team to kind of open up the playbook for him. Indianapolis spent a lot of money on defense and it really hasn't showed much of anything. Defensively speaking, Cleveland hasn't played that bad. Defensively speaking, they're actually pretty decent. And Andrew Luck being out again, Jacoby Brissett will be starting again. If Indy opens this playbook up, or at least get some read options in, maybe they can probably take advantage of this defense. But I don't see that happening. I'm gonna go with the Browns to beat the Colts. Colts starting 0-3 again. Man, they need Andrew Luck back sooner rather than later. Next game up, I got the Dolphins against the Jets. I'm picking the Dolphins because Jets. I don't see about them Jets. The road to 0-16. How about that? Texans at Patriots. Defense that looked pretty good week 2. Deshaun Watson getting his first win last week against Cincinnati and got it on the road, by the way. But it's a rookie quarterback against Brady, Belichick, and mind you, how many guys were hurt last week for New England, offensively speaking? And look what they did to the Saints. I don't see them losing their first 2 home games. So I'm going to go with the Patriots on that one. Now this matchup, it should be an interesting one. 2-0 Atlanta, 2-0 Detroit. Detroit looking really good on defense this year. Matt Stafford playing up to his contract so far. Detroit, I like them, but I mean, granted, this is a turf game. that dome game, excuse me. Anytime I put Atlanta in a dome, home or the road, I think that's grounds for a track meet. And by track meet, I mean like just Atlanta and their wideouts just running up and down the field. I like Atlanta to and with that young, hungry, speedy defense that they got, they kind of have like an ACC like fast paced defense. Um, I like Atlanta to take this one, even though I like Detroit and how they're playing so far. I mean, the battle of two teams being 2-0, somebody's got to go. Somebody has to get an L, and I just think this week that'll be Detroit. So I'm gonna take Atlanta on this one. It should be a pretty pivotal matchup. Also, another one, divisional matchup: Giants at Eagles. 0-2 Giants with the non-existence of an O line. If they weren't a division rival to my Cowboys, I would really, really feel for them. I just kind of, sort of, slightly, maybe tiny feel for them. They've done. You get rid of Tom Coughlin 2 years ago. 2 years ago to promote Ben McAdoo, who at the time was running a top 10 offense, and since he's been head coach, they've been bottom 7, offensively speaking, and you fired Tom Coughlin, or Tom Coughlin got was basically ushered out the door, and the same problem that y'all had before he was gone, you still have now. They didn't address the offensive line. That has to do with upper management. But that being said, Ben McAdoo, you can't put that all on the quarterback, man. He's had these same issues for years and years and years. Okay? And man, he's been pretty serviceable. But what more can a person do? And I'm going to get to Seattle a little bit because I think they have the same problem. What more can a quarterback do when they have no time to do anything? That's what happened Monday night. That's what happened opening week 1 against Dallas. And given how the Eagles defense can get at the quarterback, I think that's going to happen again. And Wentz still is looking pretty good. So I am going to go with the Eagles to take this one at home. Seattle, another team with offensive line issues. What can you do when, offensively speaking, you have no time to get the ball off? Okay, Russell Wilson has familiar targets at wide receiver and at tight end now. He has Jimmy Graham, but it doesn't help when you don't have time to throw the ball. And that San Francisco game where, San Francisco was consistently in the backfield. They only have one offensive touchdown all year long. Seattle's offense, looks hapless. And this is another one of those teams where it's literally going to be all up to the defense to save this team. And I'm on the road at Tennessee. I don't think this is going to be the week where they're going to get a reprieve. Tennessee kind of got rolling last week against the Jags. I think having Derrick Henry in the lineup more than Murray, excuse me, I think freshens that offense up. And if Corey Davis, can stay healthy, if he plays this week, then I totally expect a lot of power running from that tandem of Henry and Murray, setting up the play action for Mariota, or some QB runs from Mariota that help set up that pass game. And I'm going to take Tennessee to beat Seattle at home. Chiefs and Chargers. I'm picking the Chiefs to win this one. Chiefs should be going to 3-0. Right now, they're playing amazing football right now, out the gate. And when it comes to those Chargers, it's no matter the talent, like no matter the expectation, it just seems like they can't put these close games together. I don't think this game is going to be close though. I just expect the Chiefs. I'm not gonna say to beat down the Chargers, but I'll probably say at least a 10-point victory for the Chiefs. Even though it's a divisional matchup, it'll be close for a minute, but the Chiefs will pull away in this one. Bengals, Packers. I'm taking Green Bay. Green Bay at home. Vontaze Burfict, I think, is still suspended, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong about that. But listen, Cincinnati. All the talent, and just it is mind-boggling to have such talent. AJ Green, John Ross, that backfield tandem with Hill, Bernard, and Joe Mixon and Tyler Eifert at tight end, and Andy Dalton is not a bad quarterback, but he's played like trash, and it's like you look at the coach and Marvin Lewis just seems like it's whatever. Nah, man, it's not whatever. You need to tighten that ship up, man. But Green Bay, given the beatdown that they took at Atlanta, I think they're gonna bounce back pretty angrily. So I'm gonna take Green Bay in that one. The 8:30 matchup Sunday Night Football, Raiders at Washington. I'm taking Oakland. Oakland, it looks like it's on a roll, man. That team is flowing, and defensively they actually look pretty decent. Um, Kirk Cousins prime time, and he's a night and day guy, and I think this is going to be one of those bad night type of situations. I expect him to throw a good pick or two. Um, I expect Derek Carr to shred that defense, and I'm picking Oakland. So those same three AFC West teams we talked about earlier being 2-0, I think they'll all be 3-0 at the end of the week. And then we get to the Monday night game. Um, Arizona hosting Dallas. Like I said earlier, Arizona didn't look like they wanted to win that game against Indianapolis, and yet they did. Um, Dallas looked despondent. Well, certain players anyway looked despondent. And then you had Byron Jones, who just totally, like, in essence, ran away from a tackle that led to a touchdown in the Denver game. Hopefully, they've got their wits about themselves. As embarrassing as that game was, you're back on prime time again. This is Monday night in Arizona. This is the Arizona team that they should be able to beat up on. I'm not gonna say beat up physically speaking. Well, offensively speaking, they should be able to beat them up. That running game should be back this week. Um, Defensively speaking, if they get their guys healthy back, Skandrick, I believe, is playing this week. If Nolan Carroll can play, that'd be great. If not, I guess we'll see. Awuzie, haven't really seen the report on him yet to see how long he may or may not be out. But listen, the wise for Arizona, they have speed. Save Fitzgerald. I mean, he's not slow, but he's just not as fast as he used to be. But beyond that, Carson Palmer is not the same Carson Palmer he was 2 years ago. And they don't have the same. David Johnson is out. That running game is not what it was 2 years ago. Listen, Dallas, if you lose this game, then this will be your quote unquote exposed game. I'm saying that right now. I'm picking Dallas to win this game. They should go to 2-1. But this is a must win for Dallas to a small extent. And this is I'm not gonna say a trap game, but this is a game that could expose Dallas for what they are. If you're legit contenders, you'll handle business against a team that is inferior to you. So we're gonna see what it is. But that being said, those are my picks for the week. Like for you guys to comment, subscribe, share, like my video if you could. And yeah. And with that being said, I will catch you guys next week. Enjoy the games. Y'all stay positive. Y'all stay strong. Oh, and one more thing to those in Puerto Rico. If you are able to reach out, I will anything I can share in regards to information about Puerto Rico, as far as communication lines, things of nature, because of the power's out. If I can get those to you, I definitely will. To those who I know who have family or have friends there in Puerto Rico, we are praying, and as soon as anything can be shared, I will. I will be praying for those who have family there, and y'all stay positive and y'all stay strong. Peace. Take care.